All right, so the All Blacks 32, the first All Black squad of the Scott Robertson Razor era has finally been released. And yeah, let's just say me along with many other so-called armchair coaches, fans are glad that we're not selectors because look, the squad's been named. A couple of names have that we've didn't expect are in there, and certainly names that we expected to be in there just didn't quite make it. But look, I think now it's time to trust the coach, trust the process. Scott, after all, Scott Robertson hasn't really put a foot wrong at all during his brief coaching career so far. So we'll just have to see what happens. But yeah, look, I guess without further ado, here's let's talk about the squad and a couple of things as well as the new captain. So I guess we can't really talk about who's made it without talking about who's missed out. I guess they can't go. Firstly, of course, we expected three hookers. Omu and Taylor were pretty much guaranteed shoe-ins, and I get mentioned that it was either going to be Riccatelli or George Bell, and it looks like George Bell is getting a nod. Look, I guess we're going to mention about Scott Robertson's Crusaders links and all that, but I can, I did say that there was always going to be, if there would be that. I guess the rationale is for George Bell being picked is that he's still young, he's got plenty of his ceiling is still yet to be discovered. Whereas I know Riccatelli has had a brilliant season for the Blues, and it kind of felt like this was going to be the year that he finally breaks out of that shadow. That he's when being at the Canes, he's been under Dane Cole and all that. And given the issues, the changes at hooker, this was his best chance to make the All Blacks. He could still make it, but one kind of feels like this was the form that he's at. This was probably his best shot, but yeah, that's a shame for Riccatelli. But fingers crossed, he just gets another chance. But you got to say congratulations to George Bell, and certainly a player to look out for. And yeah, look, I guess when you're Aldings into Taylor's going to start, and then Omu is going to, Taylor's probably going to start. Omu is going to be, maybe back up. George Bell is probably in there to get some experience because we know ultimately Sami Sanu Takiaho will come back to the side when he's fit. With the props, yeah, look, I mean, Ethan de Groot, Fletcher Newell, Offa Tungafasi, Tamaiti Williams are always going to be there. And look, I guess Tyrell Lomax, okay, these are guys sort of kind of overlooked, so apologies on that. Been really good for the Canes, and he's got the experience, so deserves to be in there. I guess there was a lot of talk about Xavier Numia. I had gone for Aiden Ross because I thought he'd done pretty well recently, and he's been familiar with the side. But yeah, Snyder, Numir, and Ross have made it, and we've got Pasilo Tosi, who is pretty. I think this is a bolt. This is as bolt out of the blue bolter as you can get. Has had a really good season with the Canes, but I don't think anyone would have exactly tipped him to be the All Blacks. Certainly, I don't know. I mean, maybe in the 5% bracket. I think many more would have been taping Xavier Numia, but congratulations, Tosi. And I think if you saw the interview on Sky Sports, he seems like a really decent fella. So yeah, look, fingers crossed. Obviously, he's going to be in there. It's difficult to see if he will get. If he could get much playing time. I think they'll go for, it'll be Ethan de Groot, and yeah, Ethan de Groot will be on one side of the scrum, and I guess, yeah, it's going to be a drop for the other one, but got to be congratulations to Pascal Tosi. Right, I'm going to talk about locks and loose forwards because I guess they come hand in hand. So they've gone for three locks and six loose forwards. So your locks are, we'll talk about a lot more about Scott Barrett in a short while. Tupu Vai and Patrick Tuipulotu, who appears to have made a miraculous recovery from what appeared to be a very serious injury. I did say in a post after I posted that original video that, if Tui, because at the time, of course, we thought Tuipulotu was out of the All Blacks. Tuipulotu, of course, was named to start for the Blues in the final and made it all the way and actually won man of the match. And I did say at the time that if Tuipulotu makes plays the whole game, he's going to be in the All Blacks. So Barrett, Tuipulotu, your two most experienced locks, and Tupou Vaa'i, who's been a Chiefs player, is a really superb understudy to have there. So as for look, I guess loose forwards, I think there is. I mean, in worst comes to worst, I mean, Blackadder could play a lot possibly, although I think he's in there as a 7. You've got Sami Pinifina as well, Jacobson, Papali'i, Savia, I've already named them, and then of course Wallace Satiti, who's made it in at the expense of Hoskins Sotutu. Now Hoskins Sotutu is a bit of a surprise. I think he was the top try scorer in Super Rugby and seemed odds on to be, to complete one of the great comebacks into the All Blacks, but doesn't seem to be the case, and they've gone for they seem to have taken a liking to young Wallace Setitu, who has certainly had an explosive performance in the semi-final. Not so much of didn't really do too much of the final, but I think he's clearly done enough to get into the All Black side. So certainly. Yes, and of course, I should mention, of course, Sam Cane hasn't made the side. Now, the word is that he is expected to be named on the end of year tour if he's fit. Of course, Sam Cane did announce that he is retiring from professional rugby at the end of this season. So, I I guess it's kind of good that they don't name token players, but fingers crossed Sam Cane does get a chance to end his All Blacks career on his terms. Even if he is not the captain. Right, we'll go to halfbacks, and then backs. I think we'll just talk about as one big group because not particularly few big surprises there. So halfbacks, you got Finley Christie, Cortez Ratama, and TJ Perenara. Look, I guess you've got the experience of Christian, you have to call Finley Christie experience now, and TJ Perenara, who's really not put a foot wrong since his return from a serious injury this season. Look, obviously unfortunate with Cam Royga, who would have been almost certainly in the All Blacks, but TJ Perenara deserves to be in the All Blacks, and I think just edges out Fakatava, who I think, I guess the inconsistencies with his game kind of dogged him there. Beauden Barrett, Damien McKenzie, first fives also can play fullback, and Stephen Perifetta as well can play first five fullback. And I guess should mention that's been Harry Plummer's sort of been a name that's sort of come up. I just thought the thing with when you have Damien McKenzie, Beauden Barrett, and Stephen Perifetta in the side, and they can play fullback as well, and are in the All Blacks, you kind of have to go for them. Look, Damien McKenzie didn't have the best game on Saturday night, but it was quite clear that the Blues forward pack was completely overpowering the Chiefs, and the rain and all that, and D-Mac just did not have the conditions to what he had in Wellington. And look, I guess even the best players struggle to behind a pack that's underpowered. So I think D-Mac for me will be the first choice, first five, and I think behind the All Blacks pack, I think you'll see the best of him. So. And and so we quickly go to midfielders. Geordie Barrett, Rico Ioane, Anton Brown, they named themselves. Billy Proctor's the new cap. By the way, I was actually reading out, trying to work out Pasilo Tossi's name because I saw an alert suddenly from TVNZ as I'm recording this. Speaking of Tossi's teammate, it's Billy Proctor. I think that is a He edges in ahead of David Havili. Although, interesting fact, David Havili is in the side for injury cover alongside Sam Derry, Ruben Love, and George Bauer. Of course, Derry Love didn't quite make the full side, so along with Havili and Bauer. Billy Proctor's in, so yeah, he's had a great Super Rugby season, so and definitely deserves the call up. I guess you should also mention Quinn Tupai was still not quite to his best following that serious injury. And finally we should talk about the outside backs. Okay, I mentioned Perofeta, Caleb Clark, who along with Patrick Tuipulotu were the two, the real standouts from the Super Rugby final on Saturday. Imole Narawa, Sevu Reece, and Mark Tellier. So those are the first 32 All Blacks of the Scott Robertson era. As I've mentioned, there's quite clearly some surprises in some regard. Certainly, Tossie is the biggest surprise. But certainly, I think when you think about it, it's always it's all. And then the All Blacks have never named a bad squad, and I think Scott Robertson has nailed, pretty much nailed it there. And we'll have to see what happens against England and Fiji. He's always had the leadership qualities there. I guess the big question marks is about his discipline. He's had a couple of red cards during his career, All Blacks, Crusade, and I guess the question, so there's always going to be the question marks about his discipline. But look, I think it's a good choice, and look, Ardie Savea, it's not like Ardie Savea is completely out of the leadership side, and he will be there providing his input. So certainly first first lock to be full-time captain. Let's see, I guess we're probably since oh goodness me, maybe Alan Wetton, yes, back in the 90s. It's been a while. Locks used to be considered the perfect captain, but now so Scott Barrett is the new All Blacks captain, and yes, it'll be intriguing to see what comes in the first 3 games. Again, the first 2 against England in Dunedin and Auckland. That's in a fortnight's time. The first test in Dunedin in a fortnight's time, and then they travel across to San Diego to take on Fiji. Of course, there will be a squad name for the Rugby Championship, which starts in August after that. So, and then we'll have to do this all over again. But what are your thoughts on this first All Blacks side of 2024, of the new era? How will the bolters go? Are they, what are your thoughts? And who's unlucky to miss out? Who's lucky to be in there? And is Scott Barrett a good choice for captain? I'd like to hear your thoughts. And if you like this video, feel free to like, and don't forget to subscribe.